Control C, Control V. And
You're sending on Telegram, right?
yeah, I'll send on Telegram. Should I put my name there?
Up to you. Up to you. Anyway, if you go to TMI, you should see a.
Oh, loud noises.
You say something?
There's a lot of loud noises at your end.
My kids
Ah,
can hear very clear.
yes, it's louder than you.
Is it? Wait, Mika, I send you a link on messaging. Hi, the big one. You're editing the picture, is it?
I'm sending already. Maybe tomorrow I'll just edit it and put the TMI somewhere in there.
It says Langkawi, Vincent Chin, Botak, and your phone number.
Okay lah, enough lah. Temporary solution.
Can.
Tomorrow
I still need to do the. I still need to do a picture of me.
or your silhouette thing.
You got it drawn or what?
No, it's actually taken with very harsh lighting, and then I
Oh.
just increase the contrast, and that's it.
Oh, you mean it's a natural picture like this? You didn't get it like.
Correct.
Oh.
It's a natural picture, but I use very harsh lighting so I can get the contrast, and then I increase the contrast to 100%, so it's either black or white,
Okay.
and then can see the lines of my nose and my eyes.
Yeah. Cool.
But you need to get the harsh lighting, the right angle, otherwise I will see saggy cheeks and all that.
Everything going south, is it?
Yeah, the wrong things will show up.
Because of gravity. Okay, I've been streaming on TMI for the last 2 minutes. Now I'm gonna share it with on my Facebook. So it's Halal and I don't understand this watch party there.
I seen a lot of these watch parties before, but I didn't watch that. It sounds like it's just a Facebook Live, but you can play anything, not just your own video. You can pick a video, upload, play, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Then you can add like a playlist kind of thing, right?
playlist, I don't know. I know it's just a simultaneous. Everybody watch the same thing at the same time, so it's like Facebook Live lah.
Yeah, but then you can get to see people that are watching, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not interactive. It's not video interactive. They can. It's like Facebook Live. You can chat with each other. You're on the same chat, and because this was that watch party, I think existed before Facebook Live. So Facebook Live feels like a evolution of watch party, but it's something you can broadcast yourself.
What's the point of watch party then? If it's Facebook Live, right?
Me, if there's a Facebook Live already, watch party is pointless lah.
Yeah.
But I may not grasp it fully, so I won't speak for it lah.
I mean, the sharing allows me to share both ways lah, which is Facebook Live and watch party. So normally when it's a watch party, I guess people get to see what I'm watching at the same time. I don't know.
I never attended enough of these watch parties to know what's the difference. The Facebook Live one seems to be unavoidable because if I have a friend doing Facebook Live, I get a notification, and then it is easier to click on it than any other new post that people do. So I will end up seeing it. Then I will end up just liking lah, put a response or something like that, hi, and then I get out. Because whatever they do usually doesn't appeal to me. But, but I ended up in a lot of Facebook Live broadcasts, but I never ended up in a watch party. So I'm guessing that the Facebook Live is actually a more viralable kind of broadcast,
Yes.
which is really why people are actually using it and making money out of it.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how Facebook and videos on Facebook actually make money. Which is, I think,
I followed one. No, I followed one. I sat through one, and I saw how it's done. I just don't understand why it's working. It's it's somebody who's just on Facebook Live. I think the first or second time they did it, maybe they had one or two friends who happened to be online and just joined in and watch.
yeah,
By the time I saw this person do it, I think it was the third or fourth or fifth time they are doing it. And what they're doing is just saying random things. And then when a new friend pops in and starts watching, they will address this new friend and say, hey, so now we have Vincent here. Vincent is still in Langkawi.
yeah,
You're just talking to whoever pops in and engage lah. So once they engage, then the person who pop in won't suddenly go and chabut because their face is not shown anyway. So just respond by typing in a reply. And then if the person talking brings up your reply and answers it or something like that, you'll naturally stay on lah. So I think this one will then reach the other mutual friends and all that who gets notified that there is a Facebook Live. And then they will be curious and they click in and then they'll see, oh, my friend Vincent is also watching. So what the hell is this about? And then they'll continue and then, hi, Adrian, oh, so good to see you. So are you still doing a salmon and all that? So then you stay on lah. So end up you accumulate all this. And what this person does is, after a while, they'll bring out something. And by the way, a friend of mine is selling this. And it's usually sold at 50 ringgit. I get to sell it at 20 ringgit if anybody wants. There's only 5 of them available. Order yours now for 20 ringgit. Or then actually there are people responding on the chat and saying, I want one, I want one. It's just like that. And then you buy, and then all 5 sold already. And then after a while, after a few minutes, and the next thing I have is this umbrella. This special umbrella. So it's like all these American ads we used to see, and then dial 1-800-111-111 and order yours now kind of thing.
it's like the TV shows that sell all the stuff lah, right?
Yeah, except that now is your known friend on Facebook saying it. So I guess you trust this person is actually having a real thing lah.
Yeah. So is that hand selling trust thing lah.
Yeah lah. So if I got like baju Langkawi, I'll probably get one of these fellas to say, and I got a baju Langkawi medium man size. It'll fit and show the husband wearing it or something like that, or whatever, I'll show somebody wearing it.
Yeah, but would you pay an influencer to do it or a celebrity to do it?
I suspect the business model is such that they get a commission from all the sales. So the supplier does not actually pay them to do it. Which means if I got a baju Langkawi and I will sell it for 80 bucks, I will give it to this person who's doing this kind of Facebook Live. Maybe I'll give it to them at 50 bucks and say, whatever you sell it is yours to make. So they can go and fry it up lah and say, okay, normally sold at 80 bucks. I'll sell it to you for 60 bucks. Only now, only these 5 shirts.
It's that the urgency lah, the limited stock
so
kind of thing, right?
50 ringgit only. Once this video finishes, you go and buy lah 80 ringgit. Right?
Yeah.
So you want it at 60 ringgit, you pay. So instantly this person gets 50 ringgit for.
Oops. Don't see you moving.
Basically, okay. I took a audio pause just now. Wait, am I still frozen? You are frozen now.
You were frozen just now, but both of us are not anymore. Oh, you had a call come through, is it?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, I lost you for about 10 seconds just now. Yeah, so the Facebook lives that I've been watching, because I run the seafood group by, it's not a page, it's a group. And so when I run the group, what happens is, I don't allow everyone to post, and I have to vet through before they can post. And so what happens is that, um, I get a lot of people trying to advertise to my user base. And so what happens is, I get a lot of Facebook lives that are selling specifically seafood. And so you get this camera, and then you get this fish, and so what they do is they tell their audience to share the video out. And once it hits a certain number, like 100 or 150 threshold, then they start the show, and they start giving out like free items for, I really don't know how they give out the free items, but it just baffles me that actually people share it out and watch it. So I really don't know who buys it actually at the end of the day. But apparently, there was a friend of mine that shared. There's this lady in, I think, Sabah or Sarawak, really outskirts Sabah, Sarawak, and she sells fashion. And apparently she does like in the five figure every month in terms of clothing from a very outskirts Sabah place. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. I need to go find the, because this friend of mine, she's been doing group buys for the longest of time. And so they all started with raw food today lah, which is one of the groups in Facebook. And so it was quite fascinating to see how the ladies have been going from Tupperware parties to, Thermomix parties to selling things like fruits online lah, which was quite interesting lah.
And now Facebook Live.
Yeah. They've always been groups lah, but Facebook Live is something new.
Yeah, actually, these are the kind of stories I've been hearing also, and that's why I went to check one out.
Sorry, my son's asking me something. Can we do it
Our
later? Later. You wanna say hi? He's looking for some phone jack. Don't know what headphone jack. Oh, you sent me something.
That's a screenshot of what we look like on my Facebook.
You don't need a Facebook.
I'm actually watching it on Skype as well, but on Skype, you are frozen. I am moving. But on the Facebook one, both of us are moving. But it's just delayed.
Read the manual lah. Google the model number. Okay. Bye guys. I'm live.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I'm totally not sarcastic.
Sup, yo.
No, I'm not sarcastic whatsoever.
Bye.
Boy, I'm a girl.
Yeah. So the Skype screen is actually locked up, but I think the screen is okay.
Yeah. The stream is working.
And
The rest.
oh, your Skype just went away. Oh, okay, came back on. Did you click something?
Yeah. Because I tried to unfreeze you and I ended up freezing myself.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
So, I don't think I can unfreeze you lah. So you look exactly like what's on my screenshot. Except the on Facebook is moving and it's that one's no problem. It's just a time delay.
The watch party that I've shared is fine. Yeah. So anyway, tell us more about Langkawi 2.0 and how the tourism industry has become and will become, and what are plans. Is it still green in Kedah? Langkawi is green, right?
Yes, actually Kedah is still green mostly. There's one sector that had somebody lah. But Langkawi is green. Langkawi has not received any new cases. Yeah, it's green.
Green and blue.
Yeah, but in terms of infections, they had only 4 throughout the whole period.
4? As in 4?
Yeah.
This is a very good number.
And this for Malaysian, whoops, the doctor who after they recovered, that's it lah. So right now, they are mostly still complying with the movement controls, and then the distancing and all that lah. So just because it's Malaysia lah, what to do? So yeah, and I do know friends who now are having birthday parties and all that, but yeah, still less than 20 people per group. So they are quite compliant, which is probably why they never went beyond the 3 of people lah.
Oh, your line is really bad. Or is it my line?
So that is it. So no, not. But I mentioned that we can as good as consider tourism as being zero, events as being zero, until it's either the balance point. And new balance point will definitely be nowhere near what it used to be lah. So if you can make 100,000 a month or 100,000 a year from tourism last time, it's going to be nowhere near that unless you totally change what you do, change your cost structure, change your business model, product model, costing model, and all that. You might get something, but it will become almost as good as a totally new business already anyway. It's just use your own same name, use your own same office and all that. Yeah. Right now, there's something that hotels are putting in place. Most of the tourism industry is actually optimistic that tourism will return. And that optimism is in a way quite realistic that they don't expect it to return immediately. It will take 6 months, 1 year. Foreigners will take another 1 year, 2 years to start coming back.
True.
So for them to do this kind of prediction and still be around to customize their promotions means they probably think they can last for that kind of waiting period. And from how I see,
can any business last for 6 months though? It's a long time.
There's something I noticed that's a difference between a lot of Langkawi businesses and KL businesses. Mainly because I know a lot of business operators in KL. I know how they are set up. I used to be one of them.
Yep.
And by now I know a lot of business models of Langkawi businesses because I have to deal with it.
Yep.
But now I understand why it's like that. And I actually see that model is an advantage for something like that. Because for the longest time, they've all been catering their business to the possibility of high season, low season, anytime high season, low season. So they are not as bad off as a KL business where there is no high season and low season. It's every weekend the mall is full.
Yeah, true.
When the mall is half full for 3 weekends in a row, they are all panicking. Yeah, but Langkawi is not even half full, sometimes for 3 weeks in a row, and nobody is panicking.
Yeah, I guess it's the same. Is that 52 weekends and school holidays kind of high and lows, right?
Yeah, so it's a kind of business model that already factors in the possibility of high until no more space, low until even if I drop next to zero, nobody will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all working and they're all in school. So you're not ponting school just because the hotel room is cheap, or you're not gonna just skive off work just because the hotel room is cheap.
True.
So they are used to that kind of market. And then they get hit by, say, the high and the lows of China, the high and the lows of India, the high and the lows of the Middle Eastern, and then the Western.
That's the bonus.
So they get their high and the lows spread out quite a bit. So they get the experience of high and low very often, and sometimes quite unpredictably. Unlike the East Coast, we know East Coast 6 months high, 6 months low.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about
the monsoon.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys are also affected by the monsoon in Langkawi anyway.
No.
No?
There's no monsoon.
Oh, is it?
In fact, during the normal Malaysian Peninsula wet monsoon, Langkawi is dry. Langkawi has no rain from December to March.
Amazing.
And all the rain, most of the annual rain will come May, June, July, August, September. That is when the East Coast is dry. Langkawi has got southern Thailand weather. So it's
see.
not the East Coast South China Sea weather.
Nice.
So yeah, actually, whether even during the rainy season, it's not a monsoon season. It's like KL rain. Like now, people will still go out and drive. The roads are not getting flooded. There are no big waves coming from the sea washing every boat offshore or whatever things like that.
There's
So
some landslides lah today in Bukit Antara Bangsa, which some people evicted lah. Other than that,
okay, that's KL lah. We haven't had landslides in Langkawi.
yeah.
Nobody lives in. So the hills are pretty much untouched in Langkawi.
Yeah.
So we never have these kind of problems. There's no such thing as overflowing rivers because we are right next to the sea. The water will just go to the sea.
Yeah. Overflowing.
So yeah.
Overflowing
No.
eagles that eat chicken only got.
There's not buffalo on the road. Yeah. Buffalo season.
Yeah.
But no natural calamities lah.
Yeah.
And what happens with Los is hotel staff will automatically by themselves go find something else to do because they are also dead bored in the hotel when it is 2 weeks of nobody. So they will already know because the bookings are not in. Oh, so now April, 3rd week, 4th week, no bookings at all. It's now the beginning of April. So I start figuring out what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. Maybe I will go do goreng something and sell by roadside at Kua Town because there's locals or something like that. So they are very versatile. So one point that I actually did notice in MCO is the restaurants, not all restaurants closed. The restaurants that stayed open suddenly just turned from 100% dine-in to 100% takeaway and delivery overnight because the number of mouths eating is still the same. Nobody could leave the island, which means everybody who visited the island are not living in houses with kitchens. They need to eat. So kitchens stayed open, restaurants stayed open. They complied with the no dine-in and so on. So they were clamoring for food boxes, power boxes and things like that, which I started sending from KL because logistics can work. Supply of food related products can be shipped. So things just moved on. And then the next problem they had, all the jet ski boys and beach boys got no job already. No tourists coming.
So?
But the restaurants needed a lot of delivery boys. So these got on the motorcycles and they became delivery runners.
I see.
Then the next thing is the people who were working in the hotels who now they know that I'm only supporting the existing the guests and there's no more new guests. So half of them just said, okay, I go do some other things first. So they went off to go and do their own masak in their kitchen, post up on Facebook, sell 10 a day. That is rezeki.
Enough already.
Yeah, that's what. And yeah, in fact, some of these people expected to sell 10 a day. Then they started getting orders of 30, 40 a day because it looks good on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. And
So
Instagram.
that's what they do, and they do it so easily. And that's why if you go and check out all the posts, you see a whole list of KL hotels closing. Ipoh, Penang, JB, Malacca.
Sad.
You would not have seen a single hotel in Langkawi says close shop, bankrupt.
Yeah, you guys have been relatively quiet actually. I mean, you don't hear anything
Exactly.
like out of
Well,
this world from.
There's no major, and nobody there is asking for subsidy lah, assistance lah, and all that. They expect and they would like, but they don't make that kind of noise. And they are not small because the number of resorts in Langkawi can outnumber any town in Malaysia the same size.
What's
But
the population like in
officially the resident population is 120,000. And then, of course, you have to factor in the fact locals, including people who live and work there, not necessarily born there, but live and work there, consider residents. And then, of course, you factor in about the average 10 to 30,000 visitors who are there at any one time. So, but
10 to 30,000.
at any one time, visitors.
So these are the like 1 week long stay kind of backpackers.
At 3 day, 2 night, 2 day, 1 night,
Okay.
tourists,
Not many actually.
visitors. Okay. Langkawi gets, last year they had 3.9 million visitors.
That's because of your Lima and your other events, lah, right?
Oh, no. Those are 20,000 people only.
Oh, is it? That's a very small number. Where's your 4 million from?
Imagine every weekend, people just go there for 3 day, 2 night. Every Air Asia flight is full.
So they go on Friday, they come out on Monday kind of thing, lah. Or they go on Friday, come out on Sunday.
So easy way to just spread the numbers lah is that 3.9 million, let's say 4 million, divide by 52 weekends. So one weekend, how many people?
Yeah.
Then it makes more sense. And then of course, 30% of that are not there during the weekend. These are the, say, European travelers.
Yeah.
They could have been there from a Wednesday to 3 Wednesdays later. Okay, so they are also the head count, but they are not necessarily a weekend crowd.
Yeah, they're a weekday crowd.
Sometimes for the weekend, they will go to Koh Lipe and then come back after that. But because they did that, they are now 4 people. Because they arrived twice. That couple arrived twice. And people like me, because I commute to KL every week, I am 52 people.
52?
Well, I have 2 arrivals. Because
yeah.
they can only count arrivals. Because upon arrival, they don't check who you are.
Yeah, true.
So I can arrive, literally I can fly into Langkawi, fly out the next flight, and fly back and forth 4 or 5 times in that day, and I'll be 5 people on that day. That's how the statistics is counted. And they almost have no means to really track how long I stay, because previously these figures were done in partnership with the hotels. Because traditionally tourism is, you officially stay at a hotel. And then these Airbnbs came up. And then these hitchhikers came up and go and stay in Makcik's house. And just knock on the door. I cannot keep track. And then there are people who, I stay in a hotel for 3 days, 2 nights. After that, I decide to stay in John's house for 2 weeks because I met John.
Yeah.
Stay on lah.
Yeah.
Today is John. Next day, Ismail asked me to go to his place. So Ismail's wife wants to cook me a lot of things and show me how to cook. Okay, I'll stay there another week. Okay,
but you can't. I mean, for a visitor that comes in on a passport, whether or not it's by ferry. No, wait. By ferry, you don't get it chopped, right? They don't know, right?
You only get a chop if you are entering or exiting the country, which means someone, let's say a German from Thailand is coming over.
Yeah.
Their first point of entry is Langkawi. That means they came from Satun or they came from Koh Lipe, and their first point of entry to Malaysia is Langkawi. Then they get chopped.
If they come in for Hatjai, then you can't basically. You don't know where he's going already. Right?
Even from Haraya and Bukit Kayu Hitam will have your chop.
Yeah. But
and
when
then,
he goes to Langkawi, we don't know already. What?
Correct.
So unless he flies in, or I mean ferries, you can take the ferry numbers. I mean, you know how many ferries go in a day.
No, you count the head count, but you see this German guy who came through the Bukit Kayu Hitam.
You wouldn't know lah.
He will stay in Kuala Perlis, take one ferry in Langkawi, decide that I want to go Alostar for 1 day. He takes to Kuala Kedah, go Alostar, and then comes back the same day. He is now 3 people.
Yeah.
And nobody knows that he's German because they don't check passport.
And then there's also the Penang on ferry to Langkawi, right? There's also the
correct.
Then there's also the boat that takes your car over. So it's like there's so many points of entrance that you don't even know where to start counting then, right?
They got no problem counting. They can count head count because all these services have to report the passengers and passenger numbers for safety and for insurance. In fact, they need identity. So officially the identity is recorded.
Okay.
But the statistics does not drill down to the actual identity of the person.
Yeah, of course.
These identities are kept by those companies until the ferry sinks. And then they'll look it up. Because even the flights, we go in and out, the flights will know the identity of everybody, IC number, passport number and all that. The counting is done by how many people arrived by flight.
Yeah.
There is no actual database of these are the passport numbers that came in on what dates, because that is the property of the airline.
And leaving also, you don't know whether he's been staying there for 2 years or not. Also, you don't know, right?
Correct. I could leave on somebody's yacht and end up in Bangkok.
Yeah. But how do they count the locals that go there and work and buy a car? Is it still prevalent? I mean, is it where somebody buys a car and then you can keep it and then you can bring it over without tax free? Is that still in existence?
Yes, it is. There is some control lah. For every Langkawi registered car that is bought, if the buyer is a Langkawi IC holder or a Langkawi resident, the purchase of the car is a very normal process, like how you would buy it from a dealer in Kajang or Shah. No difference. Okay. But if you are a non-resident, that means you can't prove that you got a local resident address, or even if you do, then it is a temporary working address or something like that, and your IC is not Langkawi, then you will have to go through a more complex process of purchase because you are purchasing something outside your tax territory. So it's like, in the airport, you buy a duty-free something, they need a passport line. So, okay, that is very simplified already. Buying a car has a whole stack of custom form to fill up. Okay, filling up is okay. Leave your car in Langkawi. If you want to take it out, can. You got a phone call.
Go ahead first.
Okay.
Go ahead first.
So if you want to take out the car, what you do is you have to put a bond.
Did you hear me on Skype? Whoops. Did you hear me on Skype? You look like you froze. Hello?
Okay. Can you see me waving?
Now I see your head. Just now was like a. Did you hear me on Skype or did you hear me on the live? Yeah,
I can hear you. I can hear you throughout.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Now it looks like it says poor connection. Are you connecting through your mobile internet?
No. I'm on time broadband. Yeah, but I've got all the streams and looking at it so I guess that's why. Yeah, no worries. Sorry, you were saying about the cars and buying it as a local
In and out of us.
and using a local IC, right?
So if you are moving, I use local IC. If you're living and working there, just change your address to Langkawi address.
Yeah, I mean I can change, right?
That's as good as local IC.
I can go to
Anybody can
Jabatan
change.
Pendaftaran and I can change it to a local address, right?
Correct. Actually, I can even walk into a PJ Jabatan Pendaftaran and change it to a Johor address.
Yeah, yes. Can I change it to a
So-
Langkawi address? Will it look at my birth cert?
No, you
So
don't have to be changed to the address where you are born.
No, I can change the address anytime, right?
Correct.
So
You
I
can change any number of times.
Yeah, and I can change my current IC to a Langkawi IC, and then I can buy a car as a tax-free Langkawi resident.
Correct.
And so then how
And,
do they
it's
know?
They don't know and they don't care. The only part where they care is when you take it out.
Correct.
So when you take a Langkawi registered car out, custom will need you to, if it's a high value car, you need to pay a bond. And then you need to have some bank bond or something like that. If it's a low value car below 150K or something like that, you take it out but some declaration, which means you have 30 days car visa going into Malaysia. Okay, the custom issues are not with the car leaving Langkawi. The custom is actually from Malaysia. And let's assume Langkawi is not Malaysia lah.
You mean Peninsula lah?
Correct. But the custom base is in Langkawi Island. But to exit the island, only place that the car ferry goes is Peninsula Malaysia. So the Peninsula Malaysia tax custom is based in Langkawi.
Okay.
You have to clear that one first and declare that you will bring the car back in no more than
30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
Alright. So the car just needs to come back within the 30 days.
So it's
Because
like a visa.
Langkawi resident who has a Langkawi car. Yeah, it's a car visa.
It's like
and
a
in
visa
1
on
year,
arrival for 30 days lah.
yeah. So the car in the rest of Malaysia is considered a foreign, non-Malaysian taxed car. So just like a Thailand car, same thing. You come in, no more than 30 days. Get out. Either that or re-register and pay Malaysian tax and become a Malaysian car.
But can't you like?
So-
I thought it was like a three years or something. If you stay in Langkawi, then you can buy a car and then you can bring it to Peninsula and not pay anything.
Okay. You can bring any car into Malaysia anytime. You just pay the tax. Okay, which means
Still have to pay lah.
first year the tax is very high. For second year the tax has gone down, and third year it goes down again, and so on and so on. So people say 3 years because by the time you get to your fourth year, the tax is so low. Just pay the tax.
Fifth year,
Pay the tax. Fourth year.
fourth year. But this is what 200% tax, right?
Initially, if you bring it in first year, yes, because that's exactly what the cars here get taxed lah.
So assuming a car which is 100,000 would be probably what 50,000 there.
Something like that.
So it makes
You get
good sense to buy
okay.
it there and drive it there lah.
I give you some car that I know the price of lah. Okay, Mini Cooper convertible.
Wow.
In Malaysia, the price is 270,000
Ringgit. Okay, that's on the road lah.
on the road. In KL, if you go to the showroom in KL and buy, they launched it in April, or they were supposed to, and now I don't know whether they launched
My
it.
dad's a huge fan. He said, you buy me, buy me. Okay, buy you from Langkawi. Okay, then.
So then you buy the same car as Langkawi registered, you can actually get it here now, and you say Langkawi registered. So they'll register it as a Langkawi car, but it will drive out of the showroom here in KL. And I
so
say here means KL.
You got 30 days to get it back in lah. Hello? Losing you.
Langkawi reg is 160.
Sorry, I lost you for 10 seconds. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
am I still around?
Yes, you are. I am not sure whether it's my side or your side, but my side looks okay. Yeah. Sorry, I lost you for 10 seconds. I lost you at showroom. You drive out as a Langkawi plate.
Okay, so a Langkawi registered car drives out of the showroom. The first day you drive out is considered the first day you are out of Langkawi lah,
Okay.
or into Malaysia.
Okay.
And then the price of that car is 160K. So you have saved 100,000
It's a
in
lot.
tax. Yeah, but the 160,000 is a jacked up price because the car is supposed to be half.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare
course.
prices with UK and US, that's the price you would pay lah.
Correct. So, so they go by market rate. So the market rate is actually 160. The real global market price.
Correct.
It's 160K. If you start converting it, it's exactly the price in Australia, in UK, in US, or wherever.
Yeah.
Okay. Only the rest of Malaysia pays a jacked up price of 270.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the thing is, if after driving I say, oh, after 30 days I don't want to return it to Langkawi, I might as well keep it here. I just won the lottery. So how much tax do I pay? 100,000. Pay the tax. It is the same as buying a fully taxed car.
Same price. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I decided to shove it into Langkawi. Next year, bring it down, and then I want to keep it here already. So the tax will no longer be 100,000. It'll be less. So if you go year after year, the option of the tax will actually start reducing. And then by the time the tax goes to 30,000, you're going to pay the tax now. Yeah, actually, I don't mind lah. I pay 30,000 lah. That is the third year, fourth year. So what you would have paid for the car if you paid cash is 160,000 plus 30. So you only forked out 190,000, while your neighbor had paid 270,000. You're still 80,000 better off than him.
So wait, is there a loophole where I can actually buy, come out 30 days, 29 days, and then go back in, and then come out again for another 30 days, or is there like I have to stay there for?
Okay, the cars can do an immediate U-turn, but in 1 year you have a maximum of 90 days. which means you can do the U-turn only twice.
Okay.
Some of these Lamborghini and Ferrari owners do exactly that. In fact, they are not the ones driving in. There is a service.
I
Put the
was just going to
car
ask that. Yeah.
ultra. Yeah. 2,000 one round. Your car will just go there, come back. That's it. And they will do your passport check for you. The custom
but
passport.
it's like a valet lah. You pass the key to them.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
it's
so
only
they
a
bring.
4-hour round. So literally one day you don't see your car, next day your car is back in your
But
garage.
you only get it for 90 days lah. So I guess if you're rich enough, you can easily buy 365 forecast. Thank you for.
Okay. Now that is actually the path that I thought, because before I discovered friends there who are doing that kind of car hosting business, this is what I thought. Exactly what you think. This is exactly what I thought. Because
Doesn't make
the
sense.
priority is to have a Langkawi registered car tax-free in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And
It's like trying to beat the system lah.
correct. Okay, now when I got to know people there and they showed me the car warehouse, and then they said, oh, okay, so there's 20 cars here. Wow, there's 20 rich people keeping cars with you. Then they said, no, there's only 2 owners. These 16 cars belong to one owner. Those 4 cars belong to another owner, and he's got another 8 cars in my other warehouse. But they only need 4 cars. Why are they having 16 cars? So then I discovered what people are doing.
Laundry. No, renting out.
No, it's not laundry. It's actually perfectly legal. They are buying an asset that is legally sellable at that price in that place. Some of these owners just sign the purchase paper, pay the money, and never even touch the car.
So then wait for 5 years later and sell it at premium.
They wait for 3 years later, pay the tax, bring it into KL, and sell. It can be sold very easily. Because imagine that Mini that you bought for 270 and you would have only paid 190 for it. You sell it at 200.
You still make a killing.
The mileage is
0.
50 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The Mini, don't zero lah. Okay, but zero means you never even warm up the engine. Okay. But the thing is, you get the idea lah. And for the level of the Mini, the price difference is only maybe 40%. Okay. If you go to the level of a McLaren, okay, I actually know the McLaren dealer here, they sell only Langkawi registered cars, which means if you're a KL buyer, when you buy the McLaren, 2 million, it's 2 million tax-free price. If you want to pay the tax, you pay 4 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so the price difference is now 2 million. Okay, so what they do is, I buy the car, but I can play with it for, if I want to, a few months every year. By the time I get to see it, it's 3 years later. And I pay the full tax of it at that time. I would have paid a total of, I would have had a savings of 1.5 million. How to find a 1.5 million savings for a car purchase? Okay, that's not all. They're going to sell it. And when they sell it, they'll sell it for 3 million because you want to buy a brand new one now that you can drive every day, pay 4 million.
Yeah.
You want to buy a as good brand new one now
Yeah.
from me, pay 3 million.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind because the
waiting
McLaren
lah,
in 3 years
So the
has
thing is,
nowhere.
yeah, the waiting game is basically buying. It's like stock lah. You buy low and you sell high lah. So you have to wait lah. There's an ingestion period of 2 years, 3 years lah. You can't cash out now. You basically have to stagger your purchases lah in a way. You just froze.
Well, okay, look at it this way. People in KL are already so in tune with buying a condo when they launch, waiting the 1 year to 2 years for it to finish to completion.
Yeah.
And then by the time it gets its CF, it's almost the 3rd year.
Yeah.
And then I will sell to the secondary market
Yeah.
at maybe another 50% or extra price lah.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
That's why the government
Except-
imposed the tax for second owners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a tax for my real property gains tax.
Property
Nah,
gains tax. Yeah.
Right? There's RPGT.
Yeah.
For the sale of the car, if I bought it at 1 million and I sold it at 2 million, it is not considered a profit. You bought a car and you paid the tax.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no tax on the sale. I'm not a car dealer.
Yeah.
I sold my personal car at an agreed buyer and seller price, and there's no property gains tax on car sales.
Smart. Yeah, but then again, you could have always. I mean, then again, you could always do a timeshare and rent out the car as well in Langkawi lah. Of course, then again, it's going to be public. Then maybe the buyer will not be interested lah. But you can also make money during the 3 years lah. Right?
Well, look at it this way: like if it was a McLaren and my profit margin is 1 million,
And no need to
do I
bother.
want to?
Yeah.
Do I want to risk somebody scratching it
Yeah.
and no getting the 1 million?
Yeah.
I will. I don't mind not getting the rental fees. How much rent can I make?
Yeah. True.
Now, if I bought those Mini Cooper convertibles, it's a different thing because I'm no longer profiting 1 million. I'm profiting 40,000.
Not much.
Now, for 40,000 or 50,000, I'm gonna say, all right, rent it out. 4 people can sit, do Mini Cooper tours. You get one, I get one. 3 or 4 Mini Coopers in one tour, which means they don't trash the car.
Yeah.
They have to follow the lead car speed.
You can have a signed driver also.
They only exactly. So the passengers just sit in the car. If you got 5 passengers, you spread across 2 cars.
Yeah.
You drive to the nice place, have picnic. You drive to the nice place, back. You can drink all you want and be drunk because our driver is driving.
Designated driver.
You
Yeah.
get to do this, you got to do this, or whatnot, open the roof and all that.
Yeah.
You can get maybe 10,000 a month renting out every weekend, morning, evening, night, or whatever. Yeah, you can make as much as 40,000 in a year
Losing you for
Yeah.
10 seconds.
because hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so the rental model for a lower price car makes sense because the rental gains is more significant than the capital gain.
Yeah. Interesting.
Whereas for the Lamborghini, please do not play. My capital gain is worth gold.
Yeah.
You go and do rental one, and the one tire in the paddy field come out, my axle came Okay, I'm sorry, my repair cost cannot cover your rental.
cover, yeah, I guess it's the same as it's the same as housing as an asset, where you rent. I mean, some locations are just meant for rental, like the ones near LRTs and MRTs, and those like buy and flip are those like property that is like for family and new family starting and stuff. So I guess it's the same for that. Yeah.
Yeah, lah, same lah. The buy and rent and the buy and flip, yeah, something like that lah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, just now you mentioned about how Langkawi actually does keeping track of people in partnership with the hotels. So yesterday, I think on ABC in US, they've opened up some local visitors to Hawaii because Hawaii being an island which is rather similar to Langkawi, and so what they do is they rely a lot on tourism dollars, and so they've opened up they've opened up Hawaii, and so
Why?
and so yeah, and so they've actually got the Hawaii authorities to actually do a 14-day lockdown for any guest coming to any hotels. And so some of the ideas that they had was to actually have a key card to the room where you can go in and then the key card won't work if you go out and want to come in again. So that was like really, really extreme lah, which, the Malaysian will probably climb through the window and try to get out lah, And so they were quite curious how they were going to implement the 14-day self quarantine because the reason why you go to Hawaii or Langkawi is to have fun, and if you're going to do a 14-day self quarantine, you might as well don't go there because the holiday is probably going to be 3 days 2 nights, so staying in the hotel in another place doesn't make sense. And so that was the conversation that two of the anchor hosts had, and so both of them had families in Hawaii, and so they were saying, as much as they want to, planning for a holiday and being self quarantined for 14 days, just doesn't make sense. You might as well just stay at home or do a local tour or local um, holiday, right? So I guess everyone's looking in that direction in terms of a local holiday lah. The the other
Okay. Actually,
Go ahead.
yeah. No, you carry on. You're saying the other something.
The other thing is, yesterday I attended a session with few of the presidents. It was a food hotels. I don't know whether you heard of FHM. It's food hotels and something.
Yeah.
So they had a digital week, and their partners were Salad Plate. Salad Plate is a Hong Kong-based company which does sourcing for food, and so it's a B2B thing lah. So there was a guy from the hotels. There was a guy, I think it was a GM for Sunway, and then there was a chef. Then there was a president from the Chef Association and the Hotels Association, and so they were looking at the COVID and post-COVID, which obviously nobody had a solution. And then of course, they had a few things that they were happy about. One of it was basically Airbnbs who don't adhere to sanitization procedures where the hotels can do it better. That was one of them. I mean, one of the plus points that they mentioned. And then the other thing which was quite sad to know, was the fact that they rely a lot on F&B. Because rooms are not easy to fill up these days, and so F&B also now it's a bit tough because you're looking at food. Normally, I mean, you can make money from a la carte, but most of the money they make are from banquets, weddings, buffets, and so it's tough lah. I mean, looking at hotels in KL closing and not knowing what to do and what to do next is just it's just overwhelming for them. But I think one of them, Mr. Halim, I can't remember which organization he's from, president of Hotelers, I think, they have come up with SOPs that they have pushed forward to KDN and KKM, which I'm not sure because, looking at how hotels and food restaurants in hotels, I mean, the whole point of a hotel is to have maximum capacity. The whole point of a restaurant is to have maximum capacity. So if you're gonna like have 1 meter of separation even with your own family members, it doesn't make sense because you're not filling up the hotels, right? So and to operate a hotel with half capacity, it just doesn't make sense at all as well. So and that goes the same for education and all the bus drivers having to have 1 seat empty, right? It's like, how do you solve that problem? You can't, right?
This is the thing that makes a lot of hotels start to plan for a long period of lull. That means they know this dip is going to be long,
Yeah.
and for a lot of them, it's just how well they can survive the dip,
Yeah.
and how much they want to still be running through the dip. So some of them have actually lowered room prices to unprofitable levels, but just to keep the business running, because unprofitable is still better than very, very loss-making.
Yeah.
Because they are still burning power, they are still, whatever you do, you can, even if you totally shut down the hotel, you're going to restart it 3 days later.
Yeah.
The amount of re-ventilation, re-air conditioning you have to do is a lot. You keeping it at base level actually may even cost less. And if you keep it running, you may even save the anti-molding cost of your carpets and your furniture and all that.
Yeah, the molding for cinemas was all over the place.
Yeah. And cinemas is a big space to do,
Yeah.
but not many walls between the seats.
Yeah.
A hotel for the same 100 people will have how many walls, how much wallpaper, how much carpets. So to them, shutting down for 1 year and reopening could be re-entering Jurassic Park. It is a write-off.
Yeah.
They might even have to upholster and refurnish the place. So they need it running, not to make profit, but to reduce the long-term loss.
Yeah.
So this is where, with some hotels in Langkawi, I'm actually going to do an experiment that could go global and could be the global solution. This one I talked about before, but I'll explain a bit more on Ella. In the past, when I used to bring events to Langkawi, I'm not in tourism, but I bring events to the hotels. It feels like the same. They bring a group, I bring a group. The people stay 2 nights, they eat, they sleep, and so on. So my event groups feel the same. But it is times like this that we really discover what the real difference is between the tourism and the non-tourism options. Okay. Because when I used to do the events, I used to still do exactly what they wanted me to do, which is, hey, Botak, fill the rooms. Okay. So if I'm a travel agent, I will fill the rooms with another couple, a family of 4, family of 6. That is how holidaymakers book with travel agents.
Yeah.
Very rare do Malaysians go on busload of 40 and stay in a hotel. The kind of hotel tourists do not come in busloads from Malaysia. They will rent cars. They will come individually. They will sit Grab and taxis.
Yeah.
The kind who will go on a 40-seater bus will not be in your hotel. Yeah. In fact, they will not go to Langkawi. They will go to Bangkok. Okay. Then they go and sit a 40-seater bus in Bangkok.
Yeah.
So the kind of Langkawi tourist is just like that. If you go for tourism, it is couples, families, unless it's a China group, okay, then you get 4 busloads. Okay. What I do for events is I bypass all of that. I don't want to deal with 1 couple, 2 couples, 4 couples, 6 families. I will go and see a company in KL and say, your whole company of 100 packs will now do your team building event in Langkawi. So one shot, I will feed this hotel with 100 room nights, because these 100 people will stay 50 rooms for 2 nights. They have 100 room nights. They have 200 lunches, 200 dinners.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is my contribution for this weekend. If I manage to get another company for next weekend, there's the same 100 room nights again.
Yeah.
Okay, each client will bring 100 room nights. No problem. So I actually beat tourism for my statistics. So now, during MCO or COVID, I worked out a new plan for them, because it is very clear that if they rely on tourism and events is no more.
Yeah.
You cannot have an event of more than 20 people. You cannot travel for event. Yes. Can't even balik kampung, whatever, no holiday, no event. And tourism, as good as, like I said now, is 0 for another year or 2 years. There could be token tourism, but there's no way you can make money from it. It's just to stay alive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use all those empty rooms to become homes, because effectively that room is going to stay empty for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
So I am now approaching people in KL who are stuck in their condos in Bangsa and say, hey, you have been working in your office every day, commuting from Bangsa because Bangsa is convenient. Now that you no longer need to go to your office, do you need to stay in your Bangsa condo?
Yeah.
Why are you Bangsa rent? Okay, so if now you realize you don't have to pay Bangsa rent, you don't have to pay Bangsa food, you no longer commute to KLCC by LRT or pay for KLCC lunch and breakfast. Why are you here? Can you move to Rawang? It's cheaper rent, work from home as well. And in Rawang, your home probably is more spacious.
Yeah.
And save your money. Okay, once this person tells me, yes, I could. I don't need to live in Bangsa because I'm not even going out to the restaurants to eat.
Yeah.
And when I do, it is so expensive. When I order in, it is so expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So, let's say now they are willing to consider moving to Rawang. So I will then say, forget Rawang. for the same price as a place in Rawang, you will get a fully furnished single unit studio apartment in Langkawi. Free Wi-Fi, free water, free electricity. If you rented anything, you don't you this same price rental as Rawang, but all these things free. Would you go? Okay, these are the very people who used to buy one weekend flight to Langkawi, right? They live in Bangsa. They like Bangsa pubs, and the price of the beers are 20 ringgit. And they will go to Langkawi because I can have 4 beers for that price. And there's the beach, and there's the waterfall, and there's the beach. Or whatever. Okay. So okay, see this picture. That's it. That is what it is. So now you tell them you can work from home, right? Bring your laptop, go move to this fully furnished place with free Wi-Fi. You do all your Zoom call meetings there, work from your laptop in an air-conditioned, fully furnished hotel room for 6 months. Okay, is that appealing? If that is appealing to them, they can move there for 6 months. Who doesn't mind staying in a hotel room for 6 months if the rent is the same as a lousy place in Rawang? I better not say lousy, some developer come after me. A simple place in Rawang, or even an unfurnished place in Rawang. I hope I don't know any Rawang developers here. It's okay, I'm not buying your properties. But okay, so Langkawi, you get to work from your room, the hotel pool, the beach, and so on. This person
And
for
5G.
6 months. Yeah, and that's 5G, yes. And this person will be there for 180 visitor days. So for one customer, I'm now already double
Yeah.
the revenue. So to a hotel, they've already sorted out occupancy for that room
Yeah.
to 100% the next 6 months. By me doing, okay, so now, how many rooms can I get? So let's say I will just do it to 10 rooms. For these 10 rooms, I'll bring 10 such customers. And if I bring these 10 customers, they will pay for these rooms for 6 months.
Yeah.
But the room is not just the only thing. They are going to eat every day.
Yeah. Your multiplier
Every
effect.
lunch.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if say, if George is staying in this room, in this hotel in Langkawi for 6 months, don't you think the friends of George will be jealous and will want to go visit him?
For
It's a trickle-down effect.
FOMO. Fear of
George
missing
will
out.
have George will have one friend coming every month.
Yeah.
And what will the friend do? He's not going to hide in the room.
Yeah.
He's going to pay for his own room because you're not going to sleep on George's bed.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay for a room, but you're going to pay for a short stay. And then because you are there to visit George, George will say, that's a restaurant. That's a good thing. I'll be spending like a tourist. So in one weekend, the friend of George will be spending more than what George is spending in 1 month. So that is Langkawi's revenue. Every month, George will bring in a friend.
I guess the only thing that is the only this was what we were talking early on the about the fans and the box and the sports show, which we will go to that later. But the only thing that is limiting George to go there now is the cross-border MCO lah. But then again, having said that, the flights are available, right? I mean, there are
Correct.
flights, right?
Actually, there are people traveling. The restriction is on traveling to balik kampung, holiday, or just bersia-sia visit. Okay, you're not supposed to do that.
But if you
No
go for
ride
work,
up
it's
visit.
okay, right? I mean, if you
Exactly.
yeah,
So now, if you are working from home
yeah,
in a room in Fave Hotel, that is your new workplace. Technically, your employer can give you a letter saying you are now traveling to your new workplace at this address.
so it's like a co-working space. It's like how the
And
digital nomads go to Bali and spend
okay,
yeah
Well, in a way, yes and no. I will say yes, just so that it's easily understood.
Understood,
But I
yes.
will say no. I'll say no because
It's
a
more to,
digital nomad and a co-working is totally different market.
yeah, this is a little bit more than that lah.
Correct.
Yeah.
First, we have to define the digital nomad.
You can
They are
probably
firstly
you
nomad.
can probably throw in a butler and a maid to wash your clothes for the same price of you doing it yourself in KL or Rawang anyway.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But in fact, if you call someone in to clean the room and do the sheets, you pay your 30 bucks. It's
Yeah.
just like in KL, you call a cleaner to come, you
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
50, 80 bucks.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the new for the hotel. So the hotel does not need to provide housekeeping for free
Yeah.
because you're not a hotel guest, you're a tenant.
Yeah, yeah. True. True. I mean, but then again, there's no stopping them to have value added lah. You know, at the end of the day, if it's a
And
long term, yeah, it's just to sweeten the deal and seal the deal, right?
the proposition for the hotel is actually even better because what I will do is I'll sell their cheapest room. But at the time this person checks in, the hotel can give this person a tour of all the rooms.
Yeah. Upsell.
This is the double
Yep.
size. So then suddenly the guy will say, how much to top up to change room?
Yeah.
Okay, that is hotel's rezeki.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny that I have a friend who's got a business in Langkawi, but she's rarely in Langkawi because all the businesses are outside of Langkawi. But then again, she's been a resident there, and they do global work for design. So all her stuff is remote and working from home anyway, even way before MCO. Yeah, interesting.
So her business is based in Langkawi.
Yeah, yeah. Stampede. Stampede is a design house. They do websites and design. They do design sprints. Yeah. So she's based. The business is based in Langkawi, but they had a major break in terms of customers from global because I think they were featured in some magazine or they were advertising in some magazine, and because prices in Malaysia, quality and language were good, so they had customers from overseas, European and US customers as well. So it's a global company lah. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I found the lady. I'll just share it. She's actually from Sandakan. Can you see my screen? Oh yeah, can you see? Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Go tell you something.
No, I'm sharing my screen here. It seems like it's so big. Oh, I think I'm zoomed out too much.
Uh,
This is her.
oh, okay. I can see it. The
She,
other
she
one, yeah.
she's actually from Sandakan, which is a obscure city, I guess. But she's,
Secure City.
I mean, not your typical big city lah.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay.
And so, if you look at her live streams, so she does about 3 to 4 live streams. Look at the number. She's doing about 120K views. And so this friend of mine, and she does for 2-3 hours. Look at that.
Wow.
And so she has naturally about 400 to 500 viewers at each live show that she does. Then again, she's selling clothing and stuff, and she probably earns about, because you can see who orders lah on the right hand side, right, in terms of the comments, and she probably does about 10,000 per show,
Yeah.
all the way in Sandakan. And so these are some of the stuff that she sells, which is clothing, which is now, I guess, the hit because you can't even buy clothes and try now in normal retail shops. And that's a conversation that we'll have probably another day on retail, and how,
Retail 2.0.
yeah. And so she's got quite staggering numbers. I mean, I mean, this is her clothes brand, which is 5,000 over. But on her personal level, you're looking at about what 600,000 followers
Hmm.
on Facebook. You're looking at, I think it was 3 million. Was it 3 million? Hang on. I mean, it's a number game lah. At the end of the day, um, it's a funnel in terms of a number game. The more people you have, the more people watch you, and
It
then
just builds up lah.
I mean, it's yeah. It shows she's got about 3 million. It's a number game in a sense that it's a percentage lah. 3 million followers. Then you get 10% watching you. Then out of the 10%, you get 1% buying from you. That kind of thing lah. So it's like the more people that watch, the more people that buy. Yeah. So she's in a way. I've never watched her before, but it was just a friend who mentioned that she's been doing quite well, selling it on Facebook Live lah. That was the earlier conversation we had. But quite staggering numbers because 120,000 people who come in and out and watch you is a lot lah. And yeah,
It's better than some national stations.
yeah, I guess that's already shifting lah. I mean, I watch the normal news now all because of natural TVs now all because of news, not so much of content anymore. And yeah, so and then news also we don't get it on TV anymore. Everybody watches on Astro Awani online and Facebook. Like when during COVID, um, the 2 o'clock Ismail Sabri and the 4:30, 5 o'clock DG. Everybody watches it on on Facebook. Nobody watches it on apa tu on
Yeah,
normal
true.
TV anymore, right?
TV.
Yeah.
My TV is just a blow up expansion for my laptop screen.
Yeah. Oops, where did everybody go? How do I get back my usual?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Lost the both of us for a second. So it looks like we've been on for what 1.5 hours, two,
Wow.
one
Okay.
1 hour 12 minutes. Yeah, talking about Langkawi and
Mix lah. Mix.
yeah. So it depends on you. We can do this on a regular basis, or whenever we're free, whether it's a morning or an afternoon. I'm fine. Um,
And lah. I think like what we normally do, we just buzzing each other with uh, whatever topics we wanted to discuss. And if it's worth discussing, and if you're still free and I'm free, then we just switch to another broadcast lah.
sure. I'm looking forward to looking at retail and education at the same time. I think there's a lot of things in retail that a lot of people have not thought through. I was looking at just a sneak preview on what's coming up next on the next show. There are a lot of like restaurants and food outlets and in the supermarkets and the essential businesses that are open, but the poor retail assistant cannot pray because the surau is closed. And so there's a lot of things that are really not taught uh, throughout. And then education, which I don't know. I think I'll look for the YouTube link where CNN had a chat with one of the Ivy League lecturers and how people are paying full fares for education, full fares also for transport, full fares for also babysitter and transits, and they have to tune into Zoom, right? And so these are, I mean, I've heard of people, pressuring the education industry in Malaysia for a 30%, 40% discount, but just doesn't make sense because you're not going to school anymore, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's two sides to it. The more I see all these debates, the more I see that actually it makes sense, but it's just being put out the wrong way lah.
yeah,
Because a lot of the private schools school fees
yeah,
does not go to the teachers' salaries. I agree that the teachers' salaries should be retained 100% and should be still funded by the parents 100%, maybe even more because they might have to spend more personal time attending to the individual students. But I do know from operators of small private schools that quite a big portion of the collection goes to maintaining the school facilities.
yeah,
Those that run lifts are burning a lot of power.
yeah,
In fact, what they are doing now is they got no carpets in the school, but all the aircons are off. Each aircon is 100 ringgit a day. If they got 30 aircons,
yeah,
it's thousands a day. So they are actually spending less on the infrastructure,
yeah.
which means,
Operation and the OPEX,
yeah, all your motors are now off.
yeah,
And your pool does not need to be cleaned as often, and so on and so forth. So all the facilities costs
yeah,
should now become not zero lah. To be fair, drop it down to 10%. But
yeah,
all your salary costs maintain because the human work is still the same. Then it's fair. But in a way, parents are asking for the whole fees to be discounted. Okay,
which is not
30%,
fair,
the whole
yeah,
fee. It shouldn't be. Please do 30% on the infrastructure portion of the fee. Okay, then that's fair. And then the school is also taking advantage of it by saying, no, no discount because we have to pay the teachers. Okay, so they are not mentioning how much they are paying for the electricity, the water.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Selective
5,000
lah, I guess.
students, 5,000 students are flushing every day.
Yeah,
Don't tell me with now nobody flushing
less
that
water.
it's still water. Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday there was the Star organizer. I think it was this group CEO for Help International. I think it was the owner or the CEO. He mentioned that what was it that he mentioned? Oh yeah, forgot that. Yeah, he was saying that the parents were asking why do we need so many lecturers? Why can't one lecturer teach a few subjects? and so and so he was saying that the lecturers are specialized and they can teach different things. And so having said that, also if you look at how the colleges and the university colleges and the universities are dealing with it, if you look at the Ivy League and how the CNN video, which I'll share in the next uh, video we do, these guys are Ivy League. Imagine how much salary they're taking home. So imagine in Malaysia. I mean, I've got friends who are lecturers, and I'm sure their salaries don't come cheap either. And so, having said that, I think it's a very balancing thing that they need to do lah. But I guess there's no one hard fast rule as a solution to come up with it lah. But I don't know. We can discuss this and deliberate this a bit more in the next session, I guess, and look at the whole education
Yeah.
because
Education is a lot more to it, lah. Not just the colleges, the institutions, but there's a lot of personal prospects and new markets for even individual lecturers and all that. So that's for another day.
Yeah, there's also the kids, the kindergartens. I think some of the schools in Europe has opened. Poor kids want to hug their best friend, cannot hug, and then they are split into two groups. There's just so many things that we have to deal. And I think the Minister of Finance Zafrul has mentioned that we are now in not a new norm anymore; it's a permanent norm. And also, how do we deal with this permanent norm, which is quite interesting to go figure out, right? But again, opportunity lah. I mean, I see it as opportunity, being positive and all. But some people rather look at it from the fans' point of view lah, which will start off the next section. The fans, the box, and
I think
the
the fans can be one whole discussion.
the fans, the box, and the sporting event, or for that matter, I quote Tan Sri Idris Jala, who used to watch Elvis play from behind the drive-in. He always thought Elvis was a left-hander because he was the guy behind the fence. Yeah, and so it'll be quite interesting to bring back. No, actually, we never had drive-thrus in Malaysia, right? For movies, we've never had, right? I think
drive-in theater, no.
we
But
had the Nokia thing.
Starlight is the closest lah, because they had a picnic in the grass field.
Was it the Nokia one in
the
Bukit Kiara?
Yeah, that's the open air, but it's not open to cars. So people just get in, and it's like a grass picnic session.
And so the argument was like, who in the sane mind would leave your car running for 2 hours? and Malaysians and going to the toilet. I mean, there's a lot of things to be solved lah, but it's interesting to see because these days you can actually project HD and 4K from a projector in an open lot, and then you can have audio piped in on FM. And how do you solve the
Bluetooth, Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I mean the technology is all there. Now it's just a matter of finding that space lah, and making sure that you're screening the latest movie lah, not some P. Ramlee or Elvis playing on the guitar lah. That's the only thing lah.
I might pay for my car to drive into a P. Ramlee movie nowadays.
Yeah, but where? I mean, where can you find a place that has food, beverage, and toilet, right?
I have the solution for that. In fact, I just
Rawang, is it?
No, forget Rawang. Okay. I might as well go into a teaser here now.
Yeah, sure.
Most cinemas nowadays are on rooftops of malls.
That's true. Rooftops are still empty. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to take my kids there cycling.
Imagine One Utama's rooftop car park and Sunway Pyramid's rooftop car park.
Makes a lot of sense.
The cinemas are just behind that wall.
Yeah.
So they just need to do a small mod, keep projectors in safety, make holes and project out a wall.
Turn the projector this way lah instead of that way, right?
It's not as easy as that, but something like that. You still have premises for your projector, but you do not need the equivalent space of 13 halls, right? You just need a whole strip of wall that's facing the open car park on a rooftop.
And then we can still have our popcorn, and the only thing that we need to solve is basically the toilets lah, right?
Yeah, just have walk-in toilets at the sides lah, and then you queue the 2 meter distance like how you queue to go in now. And then
you can have an app to book the toilet, what time you want to go.
I'm desperate. I'm not going to but
I know.
It's okay. You can just go queue because even in a real cinema situation,
it's the same thing, right? And the cars give you that 1 meter, 2 meter distancing anyway.
Yeah. And then when you're going to sell snacks and all that, you just put it on a trolley and push it between all the cars. You don't even need a counter.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the A&W drive-thru lah. They put a little holder on your window sill where there's a tray on it lah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you want to eat it in your aircon, you take it in and you close the window.
Yeah, you turn on your car lah. If not, then you just open up your windows and hopefully there's humidity lah. Yeah, it can be done actually. It's just whether they want to do it or not lah.
I think it hasn't even got to the stage of whether they want to. They have not even got past the stage that the old model is no more.
Yeah. I think the acceptance
they're all still preparing for the return of the dead.
Yeah. They're all having hopeful.
I used to be from that industry. I know a lot of people there. I'm still on some group chats and I see what's going on. And it is like the tourism industry. They are still hoping for one day the tourists come back.
They're hoping for the revival.
Yeah. So actually, this will be the best time to start selling off and auctioning off cinema seats.
Yeah. I think a lot of shows have been postponed as well, right?
Yes.
But the shows are already out, right? And they can easily screen them, right?
Technically, they are already released. They just have not made it to cinema exhibition, which means legally they are available to play. But as long as no cinema shows it yet, they can still control the release date.
And so the problem now also is now you got cars to go and monitor this pasar malam bootleg recorders, Now it's easier if you drive a car in, you can put a whole 4K camera inside, and then now you got audio pipe straight to your FM, so you got a better bootleg version.
Yeah, true. There's always way lah.
Uh,
I mean, they can still infrared the whole car park.
yeah.
Discover
Discover who's got a camera pointing, right?
the one shooting. It's a lot easier to stop a car and to search the car.
Yeah. It's quite
Where
interesting.
can the car?
Yeah. Okay. We'll call it a wrap. There's a few logos to be done. Need to expose and contrast my picture. Probably come out a name of the show. But looks like we had a steady stream of viewers. I think 3, 4, 5. But I guess going at it and seeing, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yep, it was nice talking to you.
Still experimental anyway.
It was good mental exercise, definitely.
Yep. More to come.
Yep. See you, Vincent.
All right. See you. Thanks.
Have a good evening. Bye.
You. Bye.